Hello from Bali. This is a podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about medical herbs and let's start with the definition.
We are surrounded by different plants, and some of them is quite useful. For example, if you have some kind of allergy and you live in Australia, you could use eucalyptus to make easier your breath. If you live in our territories, you could use some kind of plants. For example, if you have раны, повреждения,
Hurts or like a
if you have
scars or
scars
cuts.
or hurts, you could take some kind of grass. We call it I don't know how to say подорожник, growing
Need to
close to
check
the
this
road.
one. Yes, but it has a special name. Need to check for this one.
Yes, for sure. You know, when we will speak about medical herbs in English, we will find that we don't know all of these herbs, so we will describe it very close but without names. The same, I don't know also how to call it. There is some kind of grass. It could be translated like clean body, чисто тело. It could be used to cure some, I don't know how to say, some special dots. There is a joke from our childhood. If you will play with frogs, you will get those on the hands. Бородавки.
And yes, that's correct. And when we speak about like all of the medical herbs, like whether it's, like what is the difference between organic and non-organic stuff, and why, whether they have like enough power to really do all of the cures, or maybe some of it might be like a superficial, or maybe there is also like a simple, like a placebo effect, so that, like we believe it will help us, and definitely it will.
When I was small, I was often asked by my mother and by my grandmother to go to the forest to collect some kind of trees, plants, or bushes. For example, there is, I don't know how to say, black berries. In Russian language, it would be like buzina.
Gooseberry, probably.
Maybe gooseberry. If you will use leaves or some berries, you could create some special stuff, and it could be good, for example, for your blood. Then you could go, for example, to collect mint. There's also grass, special grass, and if you will drink tea with it, you will be very calm. If you have any, I don't know how to say, воспаление.
Inflammation.
If you have inflammation, it is quite good to take flowers with middle, which is yellow, and small, I don't know how to say, ромашка.
Chamomile.
And it would be much easier. So in Russian language, we know like 5, maybe 100 different kind of plants which could be used. For example, if you have fat on your skin, you could use oak kara, oak cork,
Skin.
or oak skin to boil it and then put on your face, and your face would stay in not blinking way.
And when we actually, trying to, I would say, build our health back or whatever. So how trustworthy for us, to use these herbs, especially that they also might be having be in the different states. And there are not some, I do believe there are not so many books regarding this. And again, like I still feel it might be like a half scientific, half of I would say folklore. So if we want to build anything to help us, what should be the proportion, and what exactly methods and ways we should use in order to collect, store, and then use?
No, I'm very sorry, and I will be step backward, and I will remember your previous question. Where is the difference between chemical and organic? And then I will answer current one. It's very sad to say, but when you live in a huge city, in a large city, everything is under the concrete, so you have no access to the grass. And if you will, for example, try to cut small leaves from the tree, they would be quite dusty. So it could be collected even not in the parks, but outside of the city, in suburbs, in some clean areas, and not so many people have access. And for example, some people will ask, and they will take out from the tree, I don't know how to say, lipa.
Need to think about this one.
Okay, and then you could have this for a tea, and it would be it's very useful for your state. But to be honest, what's the difference between plants which grow outside and chemical? You never know what is under the tree, under the bush, and under the grass. For example, maybe it could be hidden удобрение.
Fertilizer.
Maybe it's hidden fertilizer. Maybe it's some dirty stuff from oil or from gasoline. But if you will buy something in apothec, pharmacy, you will find that this is very constant, very solid, very compound mixture with very precise amount of полезных веществ, useful valuables. So it's sad to say, I was living in a village and I like to collect plants and leaves and skin and roots and so on and berries. But now in a huge city, I'm forced to go to pharmacy and to buy it. And I could choose that always I will get the same color, the same smell, and the same context.
And when we speak about the way of consumption, in my when I was living in the village, the most of the way, yes, obviously, like you could rub it against your skin, but most of the way to consume it's actually through the tea or like through the like a boiled. So whether like when we're trying to prepare something, whether it's actually might be losing all of these qualities when we try to boil the water, and like all of the maybe I would not call them nutrients, but let's say like all of the good stuff would disappear, or there are specific ways how to like make it concentrated, make it into the right proportion so that it could, with this precise amount, it could do the job.
I will give you several examples. First example is honey. If you will use honey, it's a very specific product. It will never expire. So honey is the only product on the planet which could be used even after 1,000 years. It will not get worst. And for example, you will use this to smooth your skin or to apply to your hair. But if you are a pharmacy company, you couldn't collect so many honey, and it's very expensive. So they use substitutors. So it would smell like honey. It will have consistency like a honey, but it would be no honey at all. It's like a milk which could be created in China without any cow, but with a chalk of milk, piece of chalk. The same, for example, would be in other conditions. For example, beetroot. Beetroot is a very valuable vegetable for your health, and also I know how to say, but it could be чернослив.
Black prune.
Black prune and beetroot, and also chestnut, грецкий орех, chestnut, yes?
Walnut.
If it is mixed, it is very good for stomach. By the way, there is a salad in our territories which has a name brush. If you will use it for one or several days, you will feel yourself that you have like emptiness. Some of grown-up people, they sometimes make appeals that I have something heavy in my stomach. But if you will mix several herbs, or as I told you before, beetroot and black plum and walnut, you will feel yourself much easier. The same, for example, with the skin. There are a lot of different plants which could be melted and using without any boiling. And then remember honey. If you will put valuable honey in boiled water, all of those effete oils, they would disappear, and honey within boiled water will become just an usual sugar. So boiling is the worst way how to prepare medical treatment from the nature.
And then my next question will be probably about the future, but maybe with a bit of like a mix, because my parents currently they live in the village and they also used to do like all of this, like collection. And even these days they do this thing. It's called Ivan Chai because name is not translated, and they do like all of the fermentation, and the taste is actually quite good. But then I would say, as you rightfully said, that like for example, Chinese companies they would try to maybe I would say piggyback on this, and like instead of honey, they would sell you like a diluted sugar. So what might be the future of herbal medicine of all of this, like a plants? Because at a certain point of time, there will be like money on one part of the table, and there might be like, ethics or health on another. So what's the future for this will look like?
Let's look into the eyes of this problem. For example, if we'll collect some kind of herbs to create tea, so-called tea, we will store this in our kitchen. After 1 year, we will find a small worms which would appear because if you collect herbs and you don't use, I don't know how to say that, there is special equipment how to dry out all these herbs. And if you will make some errors, mistakes, sorry, these herbs would contain some small eggs of these worms and it would be spoiled. But if you are a huge company, you could use imitation of these herbs. It would smell the same. By the way, do you know when you buy yogurt with strawberries or with apple or with cherries, in 50%, it would be just cabbages with flavor of this. The same could be with another. For example, if you make, I know how to say, but in previous century, all of our parents, they were making cans with tomatoes, with cucumbers, and you will go and you will pick up some leaves. For example, let me remember black currant, черная смородина, black currant
Yes.
and something like this, and you will put this into the water, then it will be boiled. You will put all this maybe cabbages, maybe onion, maybe tomato, maybe some other vegetable, and then you will pour it out, and then you will close it and store it in some basement floor. And it's also used in like medical herbs, because sometimes you could create some quite different jam, for example, from watermelons, or jam from also tomatoes.
And then my last question will be how knowing about medical herbs would help to make this world a better place.
When you will stay somewhere at the nature, for example, you will be in a jungle, in the forest, close to the river or close to the pond, lake. Sometimes you will find something unusual with going with your stomach, with your eyes, with maybe some other things, and you will think, if I would be close to apothec or pharmacy, I would buy such a medicine and I know name of it. But sometimes you could just find the same in the nature. It was quite funny. I was on Hamilton Island, on the Great Barrier Reef. It's Australian, and we were on some excursion, and suddenly one man was trying to gasp and to take his neck because he was feeling himself not so good. And I asked, do you have an allergy or maybe you're an asthmatic? And he said, yes, I am asthmatic. But it was quite close to the gallery with koalas, and I just ran there and asked, do you have some part of eucalyptus? And then I just make this between my hands and put some water and press on his I don't know how to chin, to press
Chin.
some on chin, and I ask him just to breathe, and suddenly everyone understands that he's getting better.
And we review the skill of medical herbs and how it will be helpful for you. Stay in peace.